Hey there everybody, Thomas Wood with Basecamp Trading. It is Wednesday, April 12th, and we're going to take a look at a question I get all the time, which is how do you know when the market's going to be choppy? How do you know when it's going to be one you want to stay out of, basically, and not going to really go anywhere? So for this example, we're going to look at gold here, and we'll look at bonds. So you can see, because both those markets were pretty choppy today, didn't really get anywhere. But the main thing you want to pay attention to is think about how market moves. If it's going to go somewhere, it's got to break through the highs or the lows, okay? Anytime you're going to actually have a move, for example, back here, when we broke high and had a nice big move up, we broke through the pivot high and climbed. Back here, when we dropped down, we broke through the pivot low and sold off. All right, so anytime that it's going to go anywhere, it's got to break out of its initial range or the overnight range that we're looking at. So one of the things I do when I first come in the morning is I'll look at, okay, where are the pivot highs and the pivot lows? So I know where my support resistance are. And then I'll say, all right, if we are inside of there, I know we're scalping. That means if we're getting into a trade, it's still okay to trade if there's a good setup, but if we're getting into the trade, the target's going to be hit much sooner. Whereas if we are outside of that range or we are not in a range, then the target can be further away. So keep an eye on that when you come in the morning. Look at where the support and resistance levels are. Say, all right, are we inside of or outside of that range? And you can go look at bonds here for today as well. This is 30-year Treasury bonds. So you come in first thing in the morning. We'd be looking at bonds like right here. Okay, this is about 6 in the morning. So we'll say, all right, where's the resistance? Well, resistance is going to be up at the pivot high. Where's the support? Well, support's going to be down here at the pivot low. So we know if it's inside this range, we're not looking for a huge move either direction. We're looking for short-term in and out. Well, if you look at what bonds have continued to do today, we've just stayed inside of that range and chopped around. Now there's short-term breakouts, like a breakout here, where you broke through these two pivot highs and spiked. Didn't follow through all that much, just a few ticks, and then pulled back down, bounced off support, back up, turned around, came back down, just hit support again and bouncing back up. So we're staying choppy, but we've also stayed inside of the range from the night session. So keep an eye on that. Look at your overnight range. That'll help you with determining, it's one of the ways you can use price action to help you determine when a market's going to have a choppy consolidation day or a day where you actually get a decent move. Now, when it does, let's say we took a breakout trade and it started to climb and we started trailing our stop up behind it. When it breaks through, let's say, for example, it breaks through the resistance up here. So let's go back to yesterday and say, all right, well, we broke through the pivot high. Then instead of trailing our stop right up behind it, what we'll do is we'll move our stop back down to even and we'll let it continue to run, because now we can say, all right, we have a higher probability of this market continuing to move. Okay? So keep that in mind. Pay attention to where your pivot highs and lows are. That's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to click the link in the bottom left-hand corner. It's a little man walking. That will get you subscribed to the YouTube channel so you can get these free video updates every day with free training. But I will see you in the trading room bright and early tomorrow morning. In the bottom left-hand corner, there's a link to the previous videos, so check those out as well. And until next time, happy trading.